So meditation and breathing are both so fundamental and important to living well and lightening your life journey that I'm going to go into them a bit here and offer lots of different options and variations of meditations and breathing exercises that you can try and you can use and find the ones that you like the best and serve you the best and make them part of your own toolkit. So I'll start with meditation. Meditation is possibly the most fundamental tool in this whole toolkit. It's something that I think everyone would benefit from enormously if they made it a part of their daily lives. And I know many people already do meditate daily. Meditation is something I've done for 20 odd years on and off, but it's only been in the last maybe 5-6 years that I've made it a really non-negotiable every single morning practice. It's the first thing I do after waking, maybe after having a drink, hydrating, and it's non-negotiable. And I, in case this is helpful, what I found is that having a sort of specific place where you do meditate makes it much easier for you to make it a habit, a routine. And that doesn't have to be anything extravagant. I think I began with just a corner of a room on a cushion. And then gradually I worked up to now having like a separate little yoga meditation room, which is where I go and sit for maybe 20 to 40 minutes every morning. I also tend to do an afternoon meditation, which is normally just tuning into a mantra, a word, when I have time to do that. But the morning is a definite, and it's such a helpful thing in terms of just diving it deep into the deeper part of yourself, going into the stillness, going into the more true, authentic part of yourself, and then you're more used to the world when you come out from that space. Every time you meditate, it's a little bit like you dip. It's like dipping a cloth into dye. You dip yourself into like the unified field, if you like, the place where everything's interconnected and one. And the more you do it, the more you become part of that. You are immersed in that. You are marinating in that energy, and it becomes more of who you are, if you like. And now there are so many different kinds of meditations that I've sprinkled them throughout this site, throughout the life tools and as its own separate section, and you can find which ones work for you. Now obviously the benefits vary depending which meditations you're doing, but I'm going to give you an idea of the general overall benefits of meditation so you know why you're doing it. So it's things like it slows down the brain waves. We're living in this really busy, fast-paced world, and it will help everything to just slow right down. It also helps to bring the left and right hemispheres of the brain into coherence, which is really important in this, you want balance. And the left and right brain have very different qualities, and so it brings them more into coherence and balance. It also synchronizes the 4 regions of the brain, so there's a lot more sort of connection going on. It calms the mind, it's known to do that. It deactivates the sort of monkey mind, the ruminating, worrying mind, which is extremely helpful. It lowers the heart rate, lowers blood pressure, increases your capacity for empathy, because it activates certain areas of the brain connected with empathy. It brings you firmly into the present moment, which is fundamental in any spiritual sort of tradition or anything in life. It's so useful to be here and now in the present moment, and meditation can help you to do that. It reduces your fight or flight response to danger, so it's less dramatic, and you can maybe cope better with life's ups and downs and navigate life better. It connects you more to your true inner self and to all that is. It brings equanimity, it brings balance. And the metta meditation in particular, which is one of the options here, really releases and increases your gamma brain waves. Maybe we'll go into that more in the metta meditation. From a more scientific perspective, there's a book called Buddha's Brain, The Practical Neuroscience of Happiness, Love and Wisdom by Rick Hanson. And he goes into the fact that meditation increases grey matter in the hippocampus, the prefrontal cortex and the insula. And these are regions that handle things like attention, compassion and empathy. It improves the psychological functions and reduces cortical thinning due to aging. It strengthens the immune system. Rupert Sheldrake's book, Science and Spiritual Practices, also cites some Harvard studies which have shown that meditation causes an increase in grey matter to auditory and sensory areas of the brain and the region concerned with perceiving alternative perspectives. So there's a lot going on with this very simple thing of like just sitting and being quiet for a few moments or minutes every day. There's an enormous amount of benefits going on internally that you will feel over time with regular practice. Also, you might have heard this, but group meditations have been shown to be phenomenally effective in their impact on the region, the area. So, for example, there were these experiments back in the 70s, I think it was, with transcendental meditation, and they had there were over 20 studies conducted on large numbers of people practicing transcendental meditation in different cities. One of the first ones, or the most famous one, was in Washington, D.C. And as the people were meditating en masse in that city, crime rates dropped. And this was corroborated in other areas. The effects can ripple out far and wide, the more of us doing these practices in the world. So there's really good reasons to all be connecting to meditation. They say that the square root of 1% of a population holding a thought or meditating on peace, for example, can shift things and create critical mass for the whole world. So everyone counts, and the more of us meditating, the better. But of course you can choose whichever version of meditation suits you and that you enjoy. Another fun thing that I love sharing, this is an interesting thing. In 2014 I met the wonderful woman Scylla Ellsworthy. Now I don't know if you know who she is, but she's a phenomenal woman who's been 3 times nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for her work on bringing about peace and disarming nuclear weapons. And she told me this fantastic story about when she was younger, and she managed to get, which is a phenomenal feat, she managed to get some of the world's top nuclear weapon policymakers in a room in Oxford, in England, as well as their critics who were very anti-nuclear. And she managed to get them to sit around a table in a room and discuss with a view to, disarming some of the nuclear weapons. What she didn't mention, but she told me, is that she had arranged previously for 5 of the world's top meditators to sit in the room below, simply to sit in the room below meditating during the meeting. Now, I think that's genius. It's so subtle, it's energetic, it's quiet, it's peaceful, it's going on in the room below, but it had a phenomenal impact. And the result was a very significant disarmament of the nuclear weapons at that time, and that's partly why she's been nominated 3 times for a Nobel Peace Prize. She also incidentally helped create the Elders, with Nelson Mandela was the head of it, with Desmond Tutu, Mary Robinson, Jimmy Carter, people like that. And she's been involved in some phenomenal things, so do look her up, she's wonderful. So now you know why to meditate. You can, when you're ready, go and look at the different meditations on offer and play with them, enjoy them, and choose ones that work for you. You won't regret it. It's the most important, fundamental, useful tool for your life. Okay, so now moving on to breathing exercises, which are also so important. In Sanskrit, the word prana translates as life force or vital force. and it's seen as this thing that permeates us as individuals as well as the whole universe at all levels. It's the stuff of which we are made up, and without which we would not even exist. We can't exist without it. One way that we interact with this energy is through breathing. We draw in oxygen, and that sends life force into every cell of our bodies. And I find it super empowering when you discover that simply by using your breath, you can change and affect how you feel. And that's huge. Just by using something that's always inside you. It's portable, it's within you from the day you're born to the day you die. You can affect how you feel. Pranayama means conscious and deliberate regulation of the breath. So quite literally it means like extending that life force. And so pranayama is what we would call breathing exercises, consciously working with the breath. So with practice, breathing techniques can be used in whatever way you want. So if you want to energize yourself when you're feeling sluggish or lethargic, you can do that using your breath. And conversely, if you're like stressed out, in fight or flight mode, and your vagus nerve is inflamed, your breathing is shallow and up here and quick, you can consciously override this by breathing deeply and calmly and restoring equilibrium without any pills, any drugs. You're just using your breath. And I find that so empowering and helpful to know. So I'm going to offer here a lot of various different breathing exercises for different times of day, different uses. I will explain in each one what they're good for and how to do them. If you think about the animal world, the natural world, tortoises and elephants both live very long lives, and they breathe really long, slow breaths. And maybe we have something to learn from that. There's this Buddhist idea that when you come into this life as a human, you have an allocated number of breaths. And so learning from the tortoises and the elephants, if you take nice, long, slow, deep breaths, you can just lengthen your time here that little bit more. Also, breathing is so fundamental to everything. It's like, it reminds you of how interconnected you are with the universe, because I'm here outdoors in nature, and by the sea I'm breathing in all this fresh air and negative ions, and there's some trees over there in front of me. And of course when I breathe in, I'm taking in oxygen and I'm breathing out carbon dioxide, which the trees then take in and they release oxygen, and there's this beautiful symbiosis going on of me and nature, me and the trees working together to thrive. So our breath is always with us. The life force is within us and we can use it for our benefit. It's a wonderful tool, perhaps the best tool that we have, because it's whether you're in a prison or a castle, whether you're happy, sad or indifferent, your breath is portable, it's within you, it's always accessible, and you can have it as an anchor and as a focal point, like tuning into your breath as your anchor, as your peace within you. So, having said all of that, you can now just go and enjoy the various breathing exercises that are on offer here. There are some that are energizing, there are some that are deeply relaxing, there are some that are in between, just to help you work on your breath and get nice, fresh, oxygenated air into every cell of your body. And same with meditations. There's tons of stuff on offer here, and I really hope that you find ones that help you, make you feel wonderful, peaceful or energized, safe, and become part of your everyday toolkit. So enjoy them and know that you can come back to them whenever you want. and that with both meditation and breathing, it's all right here inside you. You don't need anything external, which is empowering and brilliant to know. Enjoy.